President Biden's plan for student debt relief is facing a new setback this morning. A federal appeals court has issued a nationwide injunction temporarily blocking the program.
A lawsuit now filed by a group out of Wisconsin, the latest legal challenge over the plan.
The court sided with 6 Republican-led states who argue the president is overstepping his authority.
Education should be affordable, equitable, and accessible to absolutely everyone. It should lead to prosperity and opportunity, not debt. Implore us all to continue supporting the Biden administration and backing down the dark money and right-wing attacks on student debt relief, and to continue standing with borrowers by extending the payment pause beyond December 31st and using every single legal authority to deliver student debt relief. The $1.9 trillion student debt crisis has cost people more than just money. It has stripped countless people of the opportunity to start a family, buy a home, start a business, or further their education. I'd like to share my own personal story of my journey grappling with immense student loan debt. As a single mom of 2, working an hourly job that made less than $10 an hour, even after working there for 10 years, I struggled to provide for my family and for myself. I knew I needed a change, a career change, but that meant I would need to go back to school and that I would ultimately incur student debt. I thought that once I graduated and I got a steady job, I would be able to pay it back quickly. So I enrolled into nursing school, took out loans, and a few years later, I was a registered nurse. For the most part, everything went as I expected, and it wasn't until I was faced with that first payment that I realized just how astronomical this debt burden became. Even with a job that paid more money than I had ever made before, it still felt impossible to be able to pay it off. Ultimately, I was able to pay off my student loans, but it took years. During those years, I struggled to pay these loans. I faced multiple eviction notices and was evicted, had difficulty feeding my 2 babies and affording childcare as I worked long and odd hours as a nurse. It was hard at times. It felt impossible. I would have welcomed debt relief, and it's why I am pushing so hard to remove that economic burden for current and future generations. My office has been collecting heartbreaking stories from constituents across Missouri's 1st District about how student debt relief would impact their lives for the better. Here are some of their stories. Michelle H. writes, "The ongoing gloom and constant worry of student loan debt will lessen significantly. Even if some of the debt that I've accumulated through student loans was forgiven, my entire quality of life will drastically increase and my mental health will also increase. This would be absolutely life-changing." Amy V. notes, "We will be able to buy a house, my first mortgage. This will allow me to pay off other bills and increase my credit score. I cannot afford the monthly payment of over $900 per month." If this debt relief comes through, I can actually see a light at the end of still a long tunnel. But before, I never even thought there was such a light. These are just 3 of the 43 million borrowers who are depending on transformative student debt relief measures that will change their lives forever.